Hi everybody and welcome to the Week in Tech Show. As you can see, Karam is missing on my left and we have a guest here this week, a bona fide hacker, Dhillon Kannabhiran. He's the CEO of Hack in the Box. We'll talk more with him later for the rest of the interview. I'll start with the cover story, which is concerning MIMOS, which is the government research agency. MIMOS has been around since 1987, so it's been about 20 years already. But the new CEO, which is Dato Abdul Wahab Abdullah, has come on board in the last 3 years, and their turnaround story has been incredible. Prior to 2006, before his appointment, the total number of IP filed was actually 2, and in the last 3 years, he's somehow managed to make the number of IP patent files up to 191. So it's a very impressive story. The turnaround story of MIMOS is the front cover this week. Moving on, let's talk to Hi Dhillon.
Hi.
Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Right, so I understand that you're a bona fide hacker. So what?
Well, we don't really like to use that term. It's security consultant. It's the politically correct term to use.
Right.
Yeah.
Security consultant.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's just a word. Well.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but what got you into this field?
Well, I've always
was
been.
it the infamy? What was the lure of this?
Well, okay. I don't think anybody plans to become infamous. Wakes up one day and says, "I want to become a hacker because I want to be like Kevin Mitnick." It doesn't really work out that way. For me, I was always interested in technology.
Right.
It's always wanting to explore, and I think that's pretty much what hacking was always about. It was always about exploration, not really bringing down corporate networks or causing mayhem.
The boundaries.
Yeah. Pushing the limits, and seeing what can and cannot be done. That was really and truly the essence of hacking. It was exploration. It wasn't really about the negative connotations that the word has today.
So, but as CEO of Hack in the Box, what does essentially Hack in the Box do?
Well, I mean, Hack in the Box it's kind of a complex creature. There's actually two parts to it. One part of it is our website. So we've got our forums, we've got our portal. And we use it as a news resource. And then the other side of things is more real world, where we actually organize security conferences and trainings. And we do this around the world. We do it in Malaysia, we do it in Dubai, and we're doing it in Amsterdam next year.
Oh, right. I understand there's one that's coming to Malaysia in October, right?
That's right, yeah.
The Hack in the Box security conference. But you also mentioned that you do these conferences in Dubai, Middle East, and also Amsterdam.
Yep.
Does that mean you also provide trainings over there?
Yeah, I mean, the conference runs, it's across 4 days. The concept is the same when we do it in Dubai or whether we do it in Malaysia. So it's the first 2 days is training. So it's hands-on courses on web applications, exploit writing, network forensics, those kind of topics. And then the next 2 days is actually conference proper. So it's triple track. For Malaysia, it's a triple track configuration. So you got talks and you've got hands-on labs and all sorts going on.
What can I expect from the Malaysian conference then in October?
For this year, we've got a couple of kind of interesting things. Firstly, for the keynote speakers that we actually have the founders of WikiLeaks, which is a website designed for promoting leakage of corporate information or government secrets, so to speak. That's
Is that www.wikileaks.org?
Yeah, wikileaks.org. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and the other guy is a Dutch hacker by the name of Rob Honkrijp. And his role, he actually did an investigation on electronic voting machines in Holland. And he started up a campaign called We Do Not Trust Voting Machines.
Right.
And basically through his actions, they found that there wasn't an audit paper trail. So when you make an online vote, there wasn't actually a cross-check with a paper ballot to cross-check that those are legit.
Right.
And based on his research, the Dutch government actually reverted from electronic voting machines to pencil and paper. So that's kind of a major cost, and it's actually the EU elections that's going on now.
Yeah, of course. Most governments would be scared of their, hacking their voting system.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it wasn't really meant to cause concern that this is the end of the world, but it's mainly just to raise awareness to the people that look, this technology isn't infallible, and there has to be some check and balance. That's basically what it comes down to. You can't just put all your trust into technology and then call it a day. It's still a bit more work to be done.
Yes. That would be something interesting if your Malaysian election system, would be hacked or something. That's cause for more conspiracy theories. Enough. We already had enough. Moving on, online banking. In the news, I hear so much about this fraud and that fraud and people losing money and stuff like that. And I understand that a lot of these frauds are actually done by victims exposing their own password and username themselves. You know, they're being tricked into exposing it. So it's not really, it's more like social engineering. You're not really, you know, you're getting people to divulge those details. But I read an article recently that a woman was conned, and what happened was she was asked to log on online by an email saying that, you know, something had gone wrong with her bank account. She did that, and she basically just logged on. She didn't transfer any money, she didn't do any transaction and stuff like that, and she logged out. And then she found out that she had lost, I think about 5,000 or something. And in the system, the bank said that there was no breach of security on their part, because there was legit transaction from her account to another account, and they also had records of tag numbers being sent to a mobile, which she said she didn't receive any tag numbers, you know. So, you know, I thought it sounds weird, you know, because so from you know, your point of view, what happened here? Was there some interception on the telco side to get the tag number to be redirected to another number? Because it sounds very scary.
Yeah, indeed. Well, I'm just basing on what you've just told me, but most likely the account was compromised. The username and the password for the account, so the first stage to log into the banking account, was probably compromised through a keystroke logger.
Alright, so they record her keystroke.
Yes, so as she typed it in. And it could have been running for many, many months. So it's not necessarily that they started running it today and then tomorrow they log into your account. They could have probably had access for quite some time.
It's been listening for a while,
it could have been listening for quite some time. So that would give them access into the first stage of your account. So that will be able to log in. You can see your transactions, but you can't transfer funds till you have the tag, as you mentioned, right?
The tag number.
Now, the thing is that that's sent to your cellular phone, but there are devices that you can buy, like a USRP, that would allow you to theoretically set up your own base station, and you would be like a telco provider of sorts. And you could sniff the tag keystrokes as they're going across the wire. I mean, this GSM encryption, it's not the same as your SSL 128-bit encryption.
So you're saying that people can actually buy a device, a USRP, that can act as a base station and sniff in on all the tag numbers on the...
Yes, or it doesn't just, it's not limited just to tag. I mean, I'm sniffing the SMS. So any SMSs that are flowing across the network, you could theoretically listen in onto it. And of course, you can also re-inject your own SMSs as well. So I could spoof the sender ID to say that, for example, if Maybank is using a sender ID of 1234, I could send you an SMS that looks as if it's coming from 1234.
Right.
But it isn't, obviously.
But then, I suppose this device is not on sale on eBay or somewhere in Malaysia. You know,
surprisingly, it's not that hard to get. There aren't really restrictions on who can buy it. I mean, it's about $1,000 odd US for the USRP and for the antenna, and that's just like the basic kit. But like I said, you know, nobody's going to check. They're not going to ask you for your passport copy to make sure that, you know, you're authorized to buy this. No, there's no such thing. Yeah, it's just technology. It's just equipment. So, to all intents and purposes, what you do with it makes it illegal, but the equipment itself isn't.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So, what you're saying is that the person actually you know, how they would do it is that they would put this device disguised as a base station. And tap into your SMSs
as they flow across the wire. Yeah.
Does that apply to calls also?
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, you could also you could inject audio into the call or also listen in. The only difference is that.
But isn't the encryption involved in the transmission?
Yeah, exactly. GSM has encryption, so the spec is called A5/1, which is the highest level of encryption for GSM.
Right.
And there's 5/2 and 5/3.
Right.
But even 5/1 with a USRP and a FCGPA, which is a dedicated device for cracking keys, encryption keys.
To crack the encryption.
Right. Would take about within 7 seconds, 7 to 10 seconds.
Within 7 seconds.
Yeah. So
I would be able to crack the encryption of
and listen in onto the call. So basically, you establish your phone call, and 7 seconds later, I could theoretically listen in onto the rest of the conversation. Also, there's nothing stopping me from recording that stream in its encrypted form, cracking the key later, and then listening to it. Obviously, it's not going to be a live conversation, but it's still, you know, you still get access to the information.
Right. So viewers out there, you know, be careful when you log in, or like any emails or whatever. You know, I know it's been said before over and over again, but whatever emails and links that you get, please don't click on it or log in when supposedly there's something wrong with your bank accounts. But moving on, the internet has sort of made you more transparent to the rest of the world. You know, you're on Facebook, you're on Twitter, you know, you set up so many accounts, you're on